Hey kids, I hope you enjoyed listening to the fun story called Stephanie's Ponytail. And I just want to have a quick little conversation with you about telling what happened in the story. So your assignment, kindergarten students, was to discuss what happened in the story with the family member, right? And so hopefully you did that. And I want to just share an example of some important things you might have wanted to share. And if you haven't shared about what happened in the story yet with a family member, then you can do so after listening to this, okay? So when you're telling about a story, you want to make sure to just talk about the most important things, the main events. You don't have to tell every single little detail, right? So if we were going to do a quick summary of the story, it might be something like this. You want to start with the beginning, right? So here's the first pages. And in the beginning of the story, what was important that happened? Do you remember? Well, what was important is that Stephanie, she wanted to have a ponytail, right? She told her mom that nobody in class has a ponytail. I want a ponytail. And she wore a ponytail to class, right? And she went to school and the kids didn't like her ponytail, right? So that would be our first main event. And to simplify that, we could say something like, Stephanie wore a ponytail to school and the kids didn't like it, right? Something like that. All right, and here we have them. And if you want to add details, like saying that they were calling it ugly, which is very mean and not true, looks really good. All right, so then in the middle, what happened? So we would go on talking about the important things that happened. So it might be something like this. So the next day, everyone was wearing a ponytail, just like she had. And she was very surprised about that and called them copycats, right? Which means they do the same thing that she does. And so then next, she wanted to change it, right? She wanted to be different. And so she got a ponytail off to the side. And then they call it, they call it ugly again. But then the next day, look, they did the same thing. So that's so weird. They're calling her hair ugly, but then they copy her the next day. I don't get it. And she gets annoyed, right? Look at her face. You're like, ah. And then that keeps happening, right? Like she gets a ponytail on the top of her head. They call it ugly, but then the next day they have a ponytail on the top of their head. And then she tries to really do something like that they won't want to copy, which is put a ponytail in her face. And they still copy her, and it makes the school be pretty crazy. And even the teachers copy her. So, and then Stephanie gets really mad, right? She's just really frustrated that they're copying her all the time. And she tells them, I'm going to shave my head tomorrow. And then, so now we go on to the end of the book. All right, so in the end of the story, what happens? Well, she had tricked them, right? She did not shave her head. She went into school with just a normal ponytail, and they all shaved their heads because they thought she was going to. And so she tricked them, right? And I love this last page. You can see them all chasing her and look at her laughing. She thinks it's so funny, and they're just so mad at her for tricking them. So that is a summary of the important things that happen in the book. Now yours might not be exactly like that. It might be a little shorter, a little longer, but I just want to give an example. How you focus on those main activities. You don't say every little thing. You don't say like, every little detail, like, reread the book basically, and like, oh, her mom asked, would you like here? Would you like one here? Would you like one here? Very strange. And, and when they came to school, even the boys had nice ponies. You don't have to say every single little detail. You're just telling those most important events, okay? All right, and if you want to add more details, that's fine too as well. All right, so nice job, guys. I hope you enjoyed Stephanie's Ponytail. And again, if you have not discussed it with a family member yet, go ahead and do so today, all right? Tell them what are the important things that happen in this book. All right, thanks, guys.